Whatever happened to the rebels? Whatever happened to the counterculture? Since when did dissenting opinion become unpopular and marginalized? Speaking out against the government used to be popular in the mainstream. Damn the man, he can't hold me down. Now those who speak out against the government are labeled conspiracy theorists and nut jobs. Is this all by design? People often warn me about the consequences of my actions. I am more concerned about the consequences of their inaction, but they have been conditioned and programmed to be submissive, to be politically correct, not to speak out, not to say what is going on is wrong, and not to stand up for what is right. But they have been programmed to be that way, not to bite the so-called hand that feeds. They've been trained to look the other way, conditioned to be compliant. Nothing is going on here. This is business as usual, and you can't do anything to change that. You can't buck the system, or the system will buck you. You can't say fuck the system, or the system will fuck you. Those who speak out will be silenced. People fear getting on that soapbox and say what is going on here is wrong. They fear being ridiculed. They fear that they might get in trouble, thrown in jail, or even worse, taken out, all for just speaking their opinion. Of course, this trend started sometime in the late 1990s, shortly after the Telecommunications Act of 1996, an act that was supposed to make cable, telephone, and eventually internet cheaper, when all it really did was legalize monopolies and water down the media. In 1983, 50 companies owned roughly 90% of the media. Now that same percentage is controlled by just 6 megacorporations. Many local and foreign bureaus were shut down, and newspapers are becoming a thing of the past as the internet has taken over. Our cable, internet, and telephone bills did not get cheaper either. Now, most of the mainstream media is a giant echo machine, repeating the same opinions over and over. The left is bashing the right, and vice versa. At one point, they were told to choose a side. Bill Maher used to be an equal opportunity offender. Now he is just a mouthpiece for the left. Dennis Miller used to be an equal opportunity offender, and now he is just a mouthpiece for the right. I almost threw up in my mouth when I heard Miller constantly giving verbal blowjobs to George W. Bush. Many of the echo chamber media divides us, dumbs us down with diversionary scandals, and beats the same stories into the ground. How often do you hear members of the echo chamber media scold members of corrupt corporations for abusing tax loopholes, wrecking our health with their chemically laced food, and paying their employees low wages? All while their CEOs and bigwigs at the top are raking in record salaries and profits. Sure, once in a while they will scold a Walmart or a McDonald's, but that is because it is all the rage on the internet. Once a story is too big to ignore, then they have to cover it because that means ratings. Otherwise, they don't give ample coverage to these corrupt and immoral corporations, because they don't want to bite the hand that feeds them, their advertisers, or the board of directors, because there is a good chance some of those same directors could sit on the board of the very same corporation they're scolding. We are given the illusion of choice, but they do the choosing for us. They control the debate. They control what we should think and talk about. They also leave out many stories that are more important than what they report. By doing so, if you get news from other sources, you might be labeled a conspiracy theorist. Is it a coincidence that the media monopoly happened just a few years after Ross Perot, who is not a member of the two major parties, the Republicans and the Democrats, he actually got enough support to make it to the presidential debate? It has not happened since. Remember when I said that those in the mainstream media were told to pick a side? George Orwell hit the nail on the head when he wrote, "Journalism is printing what someone else does not want printed. Everything else is public relations." Journalism needs less conformists and more muckrakers. Welcome to the Wizard of Oz, folks. We need to lift the curtain of plutocracy, or this country is never going to change. We can keep arguing in circles about issues that should be left in the past, but if we can't get all on the same page, how are we supposed to keep moving forward to the next chapter in America?